I want to welcome everybody on to tonight's webinar. It's great to see you all on. If you want to quickly tell your team members or any of your people that are interested in the product, this is a great webinar for people to come on and hear more about our products and, of course, about this amazing woman's story. And so I get the privilege tonight to introduce you to Dr. Amanda Thompson. Well, she's a retired doctor. She's an amazing woman. She homeschools 5 children. And has another one on the way. So a very, very busy woman. They also have a beautiful property where they grow organic fruits and vegetables. Amanda does all her own baking and cooking, and the kids are amazing. They all learn instruments, like 2 or 3. And Amanda herself is also very gifted in that area. So it's a real privilege to welcome Amanda onto our webinar tonight. And so you make sure you've got your pen and paper and be taking notes, because I know there's going to be some great information on tonight's webinar. So without further ado, I'll just bring Amanda on and take it away, Amanda.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me all right, Naomi?
Yep, perfect.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, first, I just wanted to say a big thank you to the team who are the reason that I'm on this webinar tonight. My mum would be first in that list, and you'll understand why as I go further down. She was a big influence in my interest in nutritional supplements and Mannatech in particular, and I'm grateful for her ongoing encouragement. Also for Naomi and James Hannon. Both of these lovely people have visited our home and given us a lot of encouragement and support and education in the last year since we recommenced our Mannatech journey. And we're very grateful for their help, as I'm sure many of you are. We appreciate the way they're willing to drop things and help when they're needed, and the way they encourage the team to work together so we all benefit from everyone's experience. It's something that we hadn't experienced before joining this Mannatech team. But as for my background, yes, I'm a doctor. I graduated from Otago University in New Zealand in '97, so that's 21 years ago, hard to believe. I also have my diploma in obstetrics and gynecology. So at first I worked full-time, and then as we headed to our brood of children, I've only worked part-time. Naomi's already mentioned we have 5 from age 16 down to 3, with number 6 on the way. So in the end, I did some time in general practice, but finally focused in emergency medicine, which is, I guess, my love. I like the hands-on side of medicine and never knowing what's coming next to keep you on your toes. It's a lot of fun. But as time went on, I was finding that because our family is so important to both my husband and we homeschool, that was getting a bit more heavy in commitments with high school. So we decided it was better for me to be home full time, and that's where I am now. And that's why people say I'm retired, even though I'm only young. Why did I get interested in supplements? Well, most doctors, and myself included, tend to think of supplementation as just giving you expensive urine. But that had to change when about 16 years ago, my mum started taking the Mannatech supplements. She had several big, significant medical problems that weren't being improved with any medications, including everything I suggested. And yet, once she started taking these supplements, her health was turned totally around within a few months. I was really amazed. I was incredulous at first, but over the next year, I took it in on myself to really study into what was the difference with these supplements over everything else I'd heard about. And about 12 months later, I finally decided to start taking them myself. So you can see that was quite a turnaround. I discovered there was indeed genuine scientific research behind these supplements, that there is a reason why they seem to improve people's health so much. And that's why I'm here tonight, to explain the science behind these, not so much as to tell my own health story, but the science behind why they work and why they work for you as well as for me. So that's why I'm here. What about you? Maybe you're here because Mannatech's already an important part of your life. Maybe you're here because you have health problems and you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. Maybe you just want some more energy, or perhaps you want to lose weight. An important thing that I think we really don't focus on enough in life is that 2 out of 3 Australian adults are overweight or obese, and a quarter of these are children. So that's a massive health problem in itself. In fact, some research I did today showed that the cost of just overweight and obesity in Australia alone is $58 billion per year, and that's 10 years ago. That's a huge amount of money. 1 in 5 people in Australia have heart disease, and this is the leading cause of death for both men and women. 8% have osteoarthritis. Australia spends $2 billion on this each year. 5% have diabetes, and a new person is diagnosed with diabetes every 5 minutes. 1 out of 3 Australian men and 1 out of 4 will develop cancer. Why is this of interest? It's because all these are influenced by lifestyle factors, by our diet, our exercise or lack thereof, smoking and alcohol, all these things. Some we can change, some we can't, but mostly lifestyle factors are things we have a choice in. So back to these diseases, most of them have a long period of time where you don't know you're there until they're really well and truly there, and it's almost seems too late to do anything much about them. Also need to remember that how you feel right now is not always an accurate gauge of your health. I mean, we had friends 3 weeks ago, or might be just on 4, who got in touch with me with a friend who had been diagnosed with cancer. He'd been seemingly perfectly well the week before and about to fly out of the country. And 3 weeks later, that was it for him. So how do you know you're healthy? Most of us don't like the idea of an autopsy. So we need to look at health as something from our cells. If your organ systems are healthy, you're healthy. But your heart is one of those systems. It's only healthy if all its tissues are healthy, and your blood vessels are only healthy if the cells are healthy. So health is a cellular event, and we need to be caring for our cells. There are 4 big stresses on our health. We have psychological stress, which is just part of life these days, it seems. Physical stress from exercise. There are toxins in our environment, which are very hard to control, and inadequate nutrition. So I won't look too much into the psychological stress, although it is vital and it depresses our immune system, or the physical stress, where you'll find that any type of exercise even is a stressor. It produces the free radicals that accelerate your aging process, so we have to be careful how we go about our exercise. But I think one of the big things we need to look at in our lifestyle is toxins. There are just so many in our lives that we have very little control over. They're in our water, they're in our food, there are allowable amounts in our food, and less than 10% of these have actually been tested for adverse effects on humans, which is quite incomprehensible, really. They're found even at the North Pole and in Antarctica. They're in fish in all the waterways tested. Humans were ever tested. So they're there, and we need to do something about that, because areas of highest toxin exposure correlate with increased death rates. So we're all exposed to them, whether or not they're safe. And our bodies, if given the proper tools, can actually deal with these. But if not, we are the victims of disease. And I've seen many people in my time in general practice who are seriously affected by toxins in their environment. Maybe they're farm workers spraying bananas, or multiple different things I've seen that, you want to have your body as healthy as possible to deal with these toxins. And the last big stress in our lives is inadequate nutrition. If we are in a natural environment, consuming raw foods, mainly grown in rich soil, then you can combat these health threats. But is that what you eat? Certainly not what I eat. Even though we grow as much as we can, there's an awful lot that we can't eat organically. Compared with the past, people ate vast majority of fresh fruits, vegetables, roots, nuts, and little in the way of whole grains. But now what do? Nearly 60% of our diet is refined grains, not even healthy wholemeal grains. nearly 20% is refined sugars, and we eat a pitifully small quarter of the actual healthy food. But do most people even do that? Back in the 1940s, there was a minimum daily requirement set to help people eat more fruits and vegetables and minimise the probability of illness. And they said 5 to 7 servings of fruits and vegetables a day should give you what you need. Of interest, a study just last year found that 4 out of 5 Australians don't even eat 5 to 7 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. But then in 2000, so that is 60 years after the first RDAs were set, foods were tested again for nutrients. And in the National Academy of Sciences, they suggested that actually to get what we need, you should increase your fruits and vegetable intake to 10 to 14 servings a day. Now, I don't know about you, maybe you can use your little hands to raise and lower if you think you actually do that. And I'll be surprised if many people do, because that would be a huge amount of volume. So why that change over the 60 years of how much you need to eat to get the nutrition required? Well, our soils are getting depleted. We no longer worry so much about green manure crops and rotating what we grow in areas. We just grow the same crop over and over again and pour on the artificial NPK fertilizers to make them grow. Also, even when they are harvested and are grown well, they're green harvested, so the antioxidants haven't actually entered the fruits and vegetables until they're ripe. So we're missing out there. And then there's a long time from when the food is picked until we finally eat it. And on top of that, our sedentary lifestyle means we don't eat as much volume of food, so whereby we get less nutrition. So we need supplements. And even the Journal of the American Medical Association, which is well regarded in medicine, suggested back in 2002 that most people should be taking vitamin supplements. That is quite an amazing statement, and one that I think even today most doctors actually haven't read. So dietary supplements should be, it says here but they're not all. They should be natural, food-based products. They're intended to replace something expected but deficient or missing from the food chain. So you're probably saying at this point, okay, I need supplements. What should I take? Well, of course, you should take the ones that are missing in your diet. But what do you know is missing? Unfortunately, most nutrients we don't have simple tests for. They just don't exist. We don't even measure things as simple as vitamin C levels in people's bodies because it's so hard to actually interpret the answer you may get. So my recommendation would be to take a supplement that has nutrients from each missing group so that you're sure you're getting something from every area. What are these ones that we need? Well, we all know about vitamins and minerals. That's pretty simple. Phytonutrients and antioxidants are becoming much more commonly talked about, so you've probably heard of them. Glyconutrients are the particularly new one that fascinated me when I started studying into this 15, 16 years ago. The ones that help our cells to communicate and support our immune system. And I'll talk about them a lot more in a minute. And phytosterols would be one of the last groups. There's so many these days. You could go on and on about the omega fatty acids and so many different things, but we'll sort of leave it at those 4 for tonight because that'll probably take us long enough. So let's look into these glyconutrients and how they were discovered. The research really only began in the late 1980s when it was discovered that the cell surface carbohydrates that you can see in this picture hanging off the side of the cells in special different forms of proteins are how cells interact. This quote here is almost without exception. Whenever 2 or more living cells interact in a specific way, cell surface carbohydrates will be involved. So they're very vital. They are necessary for the cells to recognize each other. Why is that important? If your cell isn't recognized by other cells in the body, it can suddenly decide that maybe it's an enemy. So your body can have autoimmune diseases and destroy cells that shouldn't be destroyed. Or if enemy cells aren't recognized, ones that have turned to cancer, then your body won't destroy them like it should. So cell communication is absolutely vital. This textbook here is one that I certainly used when I was going through medical school, but I'd finished studying biochemistry by the time this version was published. And it tells us here how, although there are 200 different carbohydrates in nature, there are only 8 that are used in these cell surface recognition molecules of the glycoproteins, and the 8 are mentioned there. You'll notice the first 2 are probably ones you recognise, but most of the rest you've probably never heard of. So how do the cells use these? It's a bit like the alphabet. If you look here, you'll see that our alphabet is made of 4 basic shapes: long line, short line, big semicircle, little semicircle, and that can make up thousands of words. But in the language of the body, they don't only have 4 simple shapes, there are 8 sugars. So even more extensive vocabulary can be made up by these. The cells can say they need nutrition, they need regulation, they need to be cleansed of toxins, they need to be repaired from damage caused. So many different things are absolutely vital. And we see that in human blood groups. It only takes 1 different sugar on the end of these glycoproteins on the end of your human blood group to have the wrong group made. So that is absolutely catastrophic. You know, if you infuse somebody the wrong blood group, you can kill them very quickly. So that gives us an idea of how vital they are. Complex carbohydrates are essential for the correct functioning of the body's immune defences. And these are all big mainstream journals. Sugars are everywhere in cells and serve as identification tags to the surrounding world. The body uses them to say something as general as "I'm a human tissue," or as specific as "I'm injured, send me help." They modify proteins and fats on the cell surfaces and are vital in communication and play a part in a range of diseases, from viral infections to cancer. And that's from the Scientific American. So they're not just decoration on the cells like initially people thought they were. They're vital components of life's intricate machinery. So why is that important to us? There's so much here. One of the 10 technologies that will change the world back in 2003 was said to be glycomics, which is the study of glycoproteins and glyconutrition, with enormous potential in medicine. There's just so much more research going on there now than there was a few years ago. One of the last frontiers of science. So there we go. How is it relevant to you, though? Well, when you looked at the names of those sugars, and I said you probably recognise the first 2, well, that's right, because our diet only normally provides 2 of these sugars. The body can manufacture the other 6, but it's complicated. This is a simplified diagram of how the body goes about creating these other 6 sugars. It takes energy, it takes time, and it takes having nothing wrong with your body's system to actually make this happen. So let's have a look at how the discovery was made that these could be useful. Bill McAnally was a scientist in the States who was studying into aloe vera and why it is an active product that actually does help people, and he was trying to find the active ingredient, and he discovered that it was mannose, a sugar. He recognised when he studied into that and looked at the Harper's biochemistry I showed you before, and then into the emerging pool of glycoscience research, that perhaps the body could benefit from a supplement with a blend of all these necessary carbohydrates. So people at first mocked that idea. They said, no, your body will just use them like as energy. It will then make what it needs itself. So they actually took the step of radioactively labelling 3 of the sugars and found that they weren't being broken down into glucose. They were actually incorporated directly into glycoproteins used in cellular communication. So the glucose-only theory was wrong, and this specific dietary sugar class could be a new class of nutrition. Fascinating research. So Bill McAnally, together with Mannatech, put together this supplement and filed patents on it, which have now been issued in over 100 countries around the world. And this brings us to our first product from Mannatech of Ambritose complex powder. It's a patented blend of the glyconutrients missing from our diet. And claims in Australia that companies make about various supplements are very strictly regulated, but the ones we're allowed to make about Ambritose is that it can help with immune system function, can help with digestion, cellular communication, may enhance recall and recognition function. Now, there's a fascinating study going on by a doctor at Adelaide at the moment in how it does improve memory. Yes, have a look at our Facebook group and you'll find her name and the research she's doing. It's very interesting. It also may improve your mood and decrease irritability, and I'm sure all of us could do with that. So back to the necessary nutrients. That's all I'm going to talk about glyconutrients for now. A little bit about phytosterols. What are they? Well, plant sterols are needed for the body to make hormones for proper organ-to-organ communication. Our hormone system is incredibly detailed and just amazing how the balance of the body is kept absolutely perfect by our hormones. But our body can do with the building blocks to make hormones more easily. And phytosterols are substances from plants that are similar to hormones in the body, and they act as a basis for hormone production. They're converted in the liver to a form your body can use to produce the hormones it needs. So it's not like taking a hormone supplement that your doctor may prescribe. No, it's very different. That's giving you a specific hormone for a specific task. This is giving your body the building blocks to make the hormones it needs in the quantities it needs when it needs them. So why do we supplement them? Our diet is just simply depleted. We get them from whole foods only, things like brown rice, sesame and sunflower seeds, nuts, flaxseed, the Mexican yam. They are things that we don't eat as much as we should these days, and there's plenty more unusual things that give you a lot more too. And we find that people in the cultures in the world, such as the Hunzas that live the longest and live the healthiest for the longest, eat much larger amounts of phytosterols than we do. So the known benefits are lowering cholesterol. Well, you have a look at the latest Sanitarium Weet-Bix out, and it's labelled as cholesterol lowering because they're adding plant sterols. So this is current research. It decreases your risk of heart disease, helps your immune function, helps the men out, and the women too, decreasing PMS symptoms. So Plus is Manotex supplement, which has the plant sterols, and Plus is based on the Mexican yam. The claims the TGA allows us to make about that are that it may enhance cellular communication and it may provide relief from menstrual symptoms, and a whole lot more we could add, but we can't. So back to our necessary list of the 4 ones I'm talking about tonight. And I want to make a little bit of a disclaimer here that these supplements are not intended to treat, cure, or prevent any disease. No, that's not what they do. They're not drugs. They're not things that we have to worry about adverse effects from. These are things that give your body the right nutrition to then look after itself. So vitamins and minerals, we know they're essential in helping our bodies assemble healthy cells. And an estimate for the cost back in 1990 of poor nutrition in Australia was more than $5 billion per year. So it's really important that we get this right for ourselves. Catalyst is Manotex multivitamin mineral supplement. Why do I like it so much compared with other ones? The nutrients in it are in a food matrix. That means it's recognized by the body as food. It's not artificial vitamins and minerals made from petroleum, and in effect, like most other supplements are. They are gained from natural sources wherever possible. And it promotes normal, healthy functions of teeth, skin, hair, eyes, nerves, well, everything in your body really. And it's also high in antioxidants. There's the actual ingredient list, and you can go to Manotex's website to have a look more at the amounts of the various vitamins and minerals in it, and you'll find that it's a very well-balanced supplement. Okay, so the last few things we'll look at is Ambritose AO, or antioxidant, which offers you more than 2.5 times more antioxidant protection than 5 servings of fruits and vegetables. Why do we need antioxidants again? Because of the toxins our bodies are exposed to. It's the antioxidants that help reduce the damage caused by toxins and help your body get rid of them. And Ambrosia's supplement is measured with a validated marker of blood oxidative stress, which is very important. Other companies can make claims of what their supplement will do, but most of them have not been measured in a truly scientific way. Something interesting about this is it's based on an Australian industry producing the Australian bush plum back in the outback. So what should I take? Well, I don't recommend just taking one or two. I recommend that these are foundation products that work together for optimal health. You're far better off to take some of everything and be sure that you are actually getting what you're missing. And I should have put in a slide here. Mannatech have introduced a new one here called Nutriveris, which is one powder supplement that provides you with small amounts of everything. And it's amazing what a difference that can make to people's health. Great for children being a powder. You can just put it on their food and they don't even know. Mannatech also have omega-3 supplements, probiotic supplements, Manna C, which is a natural form of vitamin C supplement, some great fitness products, ones that I particularly wouldn't be without when I'm pregnant, such as Impact, just wonderful for improving your energy and for labour, fantastic. I've proved that a few times now. And fat loss. Now, I mentioned that the cost of obesity and being overweight in Australia 10 years ago was $58 billion per year. So we really ought to put a great emphasis on losing weight if we're overweight. It makes such a difference to your health, and not only your own health, but the enjoyment of others around you because you are healthy. Mannatech also have a supplement for kids, which makes it easy to get nutrition down your kids. This supplement, you give your kids 4 of these little yummy, delicious, actually, gummy bears a day, and it's giving them the equivalent of, I think it's 1 kilo of fresh fruit and veggies, snap freeze-dried, the nutrition taken out. So you've got your broccoli and Brussels sprouts and kale and carrots and pawpaws and pineapple, all those things in there, which make a difference for your kids. But again, they're food supplements. When you supply them missing nutrients, the body can do amazing things. But it takes time for your body to do this. So people who suddenly decide, I'm going to take supplements and I'm going to expect to feel great tomorrow, you'll probably be disappointed. Give yourself time. Mannatech is a very quality company in terms of the way they produce their products. They test everything for toxins, all the raw ingredients that come in. They have a team of biologists, chemists, technicians, and a state-of-the-art lab that's actually used by the local university for PhD research as well. So I want to encourage you that if you're actually going to get the benefit of the knowledge you've learned tonight and the benefit of having any supplements, they can't just sit on your bench. They have to be put into the body regularly, and you will be glad you did. So it's your choice, it's your decision. You might be a healthy person who wishes to stay that way. You might be a sports person looking for a natural, healthy advantage, or you might be health challenged, seeking natural options. You might be wanting to lose weight. Your choice as to what you do with this information, but I encourage you to do something, to ask yourself, what is your health worth to you? And I think I'll leave it there for tonight. So maybe some of you will have some questions you'd like to ask. I'm not sure how this works, Naomi, if people type their questions in, or what's the best way to run this?
Wow,
maybe I'll let you take over.
Amanda, that was awesome. Such great information. I certainly learned a few things as well. So that's great after all these years. So we are getting, if you've got questions, guys, this is the perfect time to send them in, and Amanda can ask any of those kind of questions or technical things. Poppy says amazing info. Sharon says, are there any products you don't recommend taking when you're pregnant?
Interesting question. Obviously, things like skipping meals and only having shakes are probably something that's not the best thing for you to do when you're pregnant. And however, a lot of pregnant women skip meals anyway because they're feeling sick or they're in a hurry or whatever, and you're far better off to take a shake than have nothing. They're so high in nutrition. I highly recommend Plus in pregnancy. In fact, I used to be in touch with a lady who's an obstetrician in the States who simply won't take on any patients unless they're willing to take the full amount of Manotex supplements. So I take my Ambritose and Plus and Catalyst and Impact and Manobears, whatever I can get my hands on when I'm pregnant, and I'm always good for it.
Awesome. So any other questions, guys? This is a good opportunity if you've got any questions. The vitamin A being a food in ours in Nutrivirus is okay?
In pregnancy? Yes.
Yes.
The only vitamin A you want to avoid in pregnancy is animal-based vitamin A's because they're the ones that cause toxicity. However, Nutrivirus is a vegetarian product, so it's quite safe.
Okay, great. Angeline says, when taking new supplements, do you recommend introducing one product at a time to your body, or can you take 2 or 3 new products at the same time? E.g. taking Catalyst for the first time and AO for the first time. Can these be taken at the same time, or is it better to introduce them one at a time?
I guess it depends on what your health challenges are a little bit, but most people, I would recommend they add everything at the one time, particularly starting in small amounts with the ones that can cause a cleansing type reaction. The AO, being an antioxidant, is going to help your body get rid of toxins. The fat loss products are going to help your body get rid of toxins. So all of these are then going to be released into your system on the way out. So you'll want to take them in small amounts as you get started. For example, the Ambritose powder. I always tell people, don't start with a full scoop twice a day. Start with a quarter of a scoop and take that once or twice a day, and then 3 or 4 days later build up. And if you notice any of those detox symptoms, like feeling like you're a bit under the weather, like you've got the flu, a bit achy, headaches, that sort of thing, then just keep going slowly. Don't suddenly speed up to the full amount. Plus, I've never seen anybody with a problem adding their Plus fairly quickly up to the 3 a day or more. If you know that you have hormone problems and your body is struggling to cope with its hormonal system, then the 3 a day is what you can expect your body to need if you're healthy and want to stay healthy. But some people may need to take 6 or 8 or even more a day for a period of time until their hormonal system gets back into balance, and then you can gradually reduce back to a more steady amount. So just take it slowly, build up slowly, but certainly I would recommend starting with your Catalyst and Ambritose and Plus all at once, and possibly others like your omegas and probiotics, and just gradually increasing amounts to the normal amounts. Does that help?
Right. Okay. Yep, that's great. So next question is, what do you recommend for people with blood sugar fluctuations?
Okay. Well, my first thing here again would be, these are not designed to treat any particular disease or condition. They are designed to help your body help itself. So blood sugar fluctuations, for a start, can be a hormonal issue. It can be a cellular communication issue. It can be a general nutrition issue as well, because some of your specific vitamins and minerals are used as catalysts in reactions to help your body control its blood sugar. So I would be recommending, once again, that people take a full range of the supplements, gradually building up, and not expecting the blood sugar specifically to change straight away. Your body might have other priorities than blood sugar. There might be something else lurking around that you don't even know about yet. But just improving your general health with the supplements in all the different areas, then you may find that specific things improve. But this isn't designed to treat a specific disease. Back to the blood sugar issue though, a very common reason for blood sugar problems is going to be obesity. So maybe you might like to consider the products that will help you with fat loss as well. Does that
Okay,
sound
great.
reasonable?
Yeah, that's great. So then is it better to space out the products throughout the day, or okay to have multiple products at once? If, for example, taking the TruePlenish, Cleanse, GI, Ambrotosen and Plus all together.
Okay, maybe we'll go through them one at a time. I like to spread out the multivitamins and minerals morning and night, because that way your body can absorb them better. Your body can only absorb a certain amount of nutrition at a time. So ones like that, you're better to spread out. I don't like to take Plus in the evening because it does have a noticeable improvement in energy levels. So some people who have it late at night find that they struggle to sleep. So why not take it earlier in the day? Your Ambrotosen, because it is a carbohydrate, your body, if it's low on energy, can use that as energy. So always take it with food or a glass of juice. So I tend to recommend spreading that out 2 or 3 times a day, depending on how much you're taking and what you're doing in life. Twice a day is certainly easier than 3 times a day. But if you're health challenged and you really want to see a difference in your health quickly, then I would spread it out a bit more. Trying to remember the other ones you specifically mentioned, but probably follow, most of them have some guidelines on the bottle as to how often to take them. That can help you there as well.
Okay, great. Phil and Patsy said we always ensure that new product users have a copy of the Correcting Crisis sent before they commence. So that's a great tip there. That's in our dual networking group. You can get a copy of that.
Absolutely, it's a good one, and do use it. That's good.
So Michelle says, I'm introducing Mannatech products to a friend of mine who is having a health issue, and she replied her doctor won't allow her to use any supplements.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's something I meant to mention earlier. It's like your doctor saying you're not allowed to eat food. Now, why do I say that? It's because Mannatech supplements are food. It's just food that happens to often be missing from our diet. Now, most doctors, like I was, don't have the time and won't take the time because of their prejudices to stop and read all the information you could give them. Now, you can give it to them. If you go to mannatechscience.org, there are some really good papers there that are specifically written to give your doctor on glyconutrition and how it works. So have a look there. If her doctor happens to be one of the type that is likely to want to read information. But most people have to make their decisions themselves and not wait on the doctor. If they're prepared to change their diet and eat healthier without talking to their doctor, then why not add supplements and be healthier without talking to their doctor too? I know I had patients who would bring me information on specific supplements. I was just too busy. I didn't have time to even look at them thoroughly. And it took me 12 months of study in the bits of time that I had available before I started taking Mannatech supplements myself. So to expect the doctor to read one article and recommend it and say, yes, definitely take it, is probably expecting a bit too much. Just go ahead and take it like food.
So another question is, if someone is, really, they've got a major health issue, what sort of recommendation would you give around the products? Because we have our minimum amounts in the bottle, but I know, you've probably found that many need more than that. What would you say around that?
Absolutely, I agree. The amounts on the bottles are the minimum amounts, and because it's food, you can take massive amounts before it, but and it's still not going to hurt you. I mean, the testing they've done for the Ambrotosen, because in the States it was initially registered as a drug, and any drugs have to be tested for their lethal dose. Did you realise that? The lethal dose for 50% is the term we use, LD50. So it was an absolutely massive amount of Ambrotosen before the rats they were testing it in got sick, and that was just because they were poor, overfed, and couldn't cope with their full tummies. So you don't need to worry about taking too much. But to give you specific amounts is something that it's too individual. But if you have an issue that you want to know more specific information and get some help from someone, contact your upline. They're likely to know somebody who knows, they'll likely know a lot themselves more about it, or be able to put you on to somebody at the right time. Don't sit on it yourself and worry about how much you should be encouraging. Get help, because there is help out there.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay, I mean, we did just slightly mention the correcting response. Did you want to just add a little bit more to that, that some things that might happen within the body?
Okay. I think the first thing we have to recognise is that for the body to work on healing itself and removing toxins from the system that are stored in your pat, it's going to take energy. So you might feel a bit more tired. And as you release the toxins, you might notice that by your headaches, or you're feeling under the weather, flu-y, that sort of thing. It's not always a completely smooth process. And you may find that as you initiate the supplements, and then again over the next few weeks or months, you might go through several episodes where your body is once again improving itself by getting rid of things in your system that you don't want, and you might feel a little more unwell for a short period of time. I guess the most important thing is to not give up, to not say, oh dear, this is making me feel terrible. That's pretty unlikely that this is making you feel terrible. It's the fact that your body's now being given the tools to do what it should have done long ago, and it's doing them all at once. So stick with it, reduce the amount you're taking if need be for a period of time, and gradually build up a bit more slowly again. But most likely it's something that you just need to persist through, and then you'll notice the benefits coming out the other side.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Amanda. I know that, the team are very grateful. I think we've got one more question here. Let me just see. Can your symptoms of hormone imbalance become worse before you start to feel better?
I think much with everything else, yes, it's possible. Particularly if your body suddenly has a huge whack of what it needs, and it starts to produce hormones more quickly, and you find that it takes a little while to regulate. So yes, that's possible. But if you start with, for example, with your plus, with 1 a day for a week, then 2 a day, then 3 a day, and if you have, with the hormonal problems, keep going up from there. Every week or so, adding an extra one until you are starting to notice a difference, then you're unlikely to cause yourself any major issues there, I would think.
Okay. We've got one more question coming in. If you're taking the Core 5, is Nutravirus recommended as well?
To be honest, I haven't got a lot of experience with Nutravirus itself. As far as I'm aware, the nutrition in it is just what's in all the others, and it's put together as one easy-to-give product for, children or elderly or people who don't want to swallow pills, that sort of thing. So if you're taking the Core 5, my feeling would be that you probably don't need to specifically add that separately. Would that be what you would know from your experience, Naomi?
Look, I have to actually say I do take the Core 5, but I do like to have some Nutravirus as well. I tend to I just pop it in my mouth. I was saying it, I much prefer that to a lolly. I know that's strange, but, it certainly gives me a little bit of a boost of energy, and I find it kind of, it does it quite quickly. So that's why I tend to take that. Just some days you actually need a little bit extra, and it's great to have a little bit of Nutravirus, in the afternoon, or when you're feeling a bit tired, or with me traveling, I definitely will take my Nutravirus as well, a little bit more. So
I might have to give that a try.
Look, I was just saying to someone the other day, I put it in my mouth, and seriously, I feel like that's my lolly. That's what I actually crave. when I feel like something, sweet or nice, I actually crave it. So I know.
And
but
you do get used. You get used to the taste of all these. My kids think Ambitose powder is a treat. Now I still swallow it because it's good for me, not because I love it. But you get out the Ambitose bottle and the kids will all crowd around wanting as much as they're allowed. Even the 3-year-old. It's quite funny.
I know, I saw that with your kids. That was so cute. They love their Ambitose. So yeah, it's amazing. And my body actually, starts to, if I'm craving anything, it's never sweets anymore. It's actually Nutravirus. So it's more just as a bit of a boost of energy. But you shouldn't need to, but just sometimes I find that I do like to take it as well.
James here. I just got back from a concussion seminar. Let me tell you, I feel like I've got concussion after 2 hours of sitting in with a neuroscientist dude. On Nutravirus, because I'm the same as Naomi. I love Nutravirus. Like, I just had to do a huge drive and all that stuff. Is it the vitamins and minerals that are just really quick to absorb? Do vitamins and minerals give us energy? Do you know that, Amanda?
Well, they don't give you energy, but they enable your body to use the energy it's given. So
wow.
Probably, you'll notice a benefit just because of that. But as I said to Naomi, Nutravirus isn't something I've really got any experience in, but maybe I'm going to have to give it a try after tonight. Sounds good stuff.
Yeah, I love Nutravirus. Find it's just so easy to eat too. So.
I love the flavour. I'm probably a little bit cracky, but wacky, and everyone's probably agreeing right now. But I just, as soon as I put it in my mouth, my whole body goes party. It really does. I feel it within minutes of taking it. I just love Nutravirus. Anyway, sorry guys, I didn't mean to butt in. I just got in and heard you talking about Nutravirus, and I just had to ask that question.
No, that's great. So I think we've got everybody's questions through. I'll put in the shakes. Yeah, great. So if you can pop on into the Dual Networkers group and just say thank you to Amanda. She puts together, in a busy day, put together this amazing presentation. And I know so many of us learnt so much tonight. So thank you again, Amanda. We really appreciate your time and sharing with us. And make sure you pop in the group and let Amanda know how grateful you are for her coming on tonight.
Thanks, everyone. Hope you all rest well.
Awesome. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Bye.